Welcome to West Kentucky Community and Technical College's Cooking at the College, and we want to cook with you. Welcome to West Kentucky Community and Technical College's Cooking at the College. My name is Brett McCarthy, and we're going to be making a little bit of Thai cuisine today. And these are some nice hors d'oeuvres that you can serve at a Christmas party or really any kind of occasion. This would be appropriate too. But we just thought we'd show you a few things that we've been working on towards the end of international class. And we got a few ingredients that I want to make you aware of that's going to be in this dish here. The first is we're going to be putting in a little bit of chili paste. And if you can't find this in your local store, you probably could find it over at World Market. A lot of times we get some of our international ingredients over at World Market, so that's a plug for World Market. But if you can't get it, you can certainly get it online. So that's a chili paste. We're going to be using some toasted sesame oil, and this can be bought at the Super Value in Lonoke. It's a very good product. Very nice nutty smell. I just love that. That's great, isn't that? Mm-hmm. That's just wonderful. So I use toasted sesame oil all the time. We have a oyster sauce, and actually this recipe calls for fish sauce, but in the absence of fish sauce, we're going to be using this oyster sauce. And we got some just basic soy sauce. This isn't the most expensive soy sauce, but for our needs, it's just adding a little bit of salt, so it's not a big deal. But if you really had to have soy sauce as your primary ingredient, you'd want to go with a more expensive soy sauce, possibly a tamari or something like that. And we have unsweetened coconut milk, and this is Taste of Thai. Actually, it's a very good product, but this is unsweetened. This is just the milk from the coconut. It doesn't have any sugar in it whatsoever, so that's a good product. So we're going to be using some of those products, and the first thing that we're going to be making is a peanut sauce, and it's done, virtually everything is done in a blender. Now, just for a little bit of added flavor, it starts out with a half a cup of peanuts. And, I use a mortar and pestle. It kind of brings out the oils and makes those peanuts just a little bit more flavorful. So we're just going to crush those up and make our version of a little bit of a unsweetened peanut butter. And this is just a half a cup of peanuts. That's right. Thank you for finishing my sentence. I'm very good at it. You know that you have a very good assistant when they finish your own sentences for you. So we're just going to crush those up, and that just kind of brings out the natural oils instead of doing everything in the food processor. It's always nice to have a mortar and pestle on your in your kitchen, I should say.
It's almost like making peanut butter, or the old-fashioned way of.
We're just going to put that right in there. And we're going to add a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. Now normally, of course in Thailand, they wouldn't even really have a peanut sauce per se. They would just add peanuts to the dish, and then they would crush the peanuts themselves. And usually peanuts is used as a garnish in Thailand. They don't usually use the peanut sauce. But most of the time, and I tell my students this, that we westernize everything. And so we have things like Tex-Mex, and even our Spanish food or Mexican food is not how they would have it necessarily in Mexico. So we have to take that into consideration. And it's a long-standing accepted practice that if we're talking about peanut sauce, we're talking about Thailand, even though if we went to Thailand, they may wonder what we're talking about. So just something to, a little food for thought there. We got, third of a cup of coconut milk here. It's quite thick, and this is nice. It's just naturally sweet. Very, very good. And we have 1 clove of garlic and about a half a teaspoon of ginger in there. And just a little note about ginger. It's actually not a root. Some people think it's a root, but it's actually a rhizome. And a rhizome is like a root. It grows underground, but it grows vertically to the ground, and then the roots come out from there. So if you want to be technical, a piece of ginger is not a root, although they say it's a ginger root. It's actually a rhizome. So just a little food for thought there too. Okay, we got a little half a teaspoon of soy sauce that goes right in there. We also have 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil and 1 teaspoon of that nice chili sauce there. Red chili peppers. Got a little bit of this oyster sauce here. And 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. It's a little bit hard there. That's all right.
And a squeeze of a lime.
Oh, and a squeeze of a lime.
Don't forget about that part.
Don't forget the lime. I'm just going to squeeze that in there. And I like fresh lemon and lime juice. I just think that's best. Just going to turn that on there. It's just a nice, easy sauce to make there. And that's about the consistency. It doesn't matter if it has a little bit of chunks in there. It's really nice. And when we get back, we're going to fry up some chicken there. We're going to do a chicken satay that's going to be served with this peanut sauce. And we're also going to be doing some shrimp tempura. I'm going to show you how to make a batter, a nice tempura sauce. We just got all kinds of things. So we'll see you back in a minute.
Hi there, I'm Michael Pate. I'm currently the TA at West Kentucky Tech for Chef Brett McCarthy, and I'm going to show you how to make chicken satay. And I'm going to start off, first of all, turning on my burner here and heating up this toasted sesame oil. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this seasoning mix, right?
Yeah,
it's basically like Lowry's.
Exactly, it's like a seasoning salt, but you can make it yourself.
And I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of this over the chicken.
This gives it a little bit flavor.
Seasoning. Yeah.
Just
there you go.
2 parts salt to 1 part garlic powder to 1 part white pepper is what's in a trimix, and we add just a little bit of paprika for color if you'd like that. And that just kind of flavors the chicken so that it'll actually marry well with the sauce. I always say that salt helps bridge flavors. So by seasoning the chicken, instead of having a bland piece of chicken and then a very flavorful sauce, you can almost not taste the chicken very well, so it doesn't combine very well. Yeah. So the salt kind of acts, just as I said, as a bridge to the other flavors. So we're going to fry that up.
Go ahead and see if it'll fry up if it stays on that skewer there. Oh, I don't think the oil is hot enough at the moment.
Almost there. Be about 30 more seconds there.
Starting to loosen up. Let's stop it from moving around. Let's see.
There we go.
That's what you like
Looking for that nice sizzle.
Now to keep it from sticking, you don't want to move the pan around much or move the chicken much. That's at least what I understand. Go. Let's see if I can fit it over there somewhere. Go ahead
and you can grill this. Just make sure that if you do grill it, that you soak your skewers in water, and then you can grill them. Even then, sometimes the skewers will burn. We're just doing it in the pan. Either way will be fine, but satay can be either fried or grilled. Works really nicely. You want to make sure it gets a nice brown color on it. Mm-hmm. We're going to move on over here so you don't have to watch frying chicken for too long. We got a cup of flour in here. We're going to be making a tempura batter. And tempura batter is just a basic batter that you'd use for any kind of fish. This, a tempura batter in Japan, and this isn't really Thai cuisine per se, but really across Asia they would have something similar to this. And essentially, what's popular is to do different thin-cut vegetables. So you can do like green beans and sweet potatoes and broccoli. But you also can do what we're going to be doing, and that's shrimp. So we're going to be dipping it in that tempura batter. And it's such a simple recipe. We got a cup of flour in here. We got a half a teaspoon of baking powder, or a teaspoon of baking powder rather. We got a half a teaspoon of salt. And then we have some ice water, which the ice is almost melted, but we got 1 cup of water. And we have 1 egg, so it's really quite easy. We're going to put that egg in there. I'm going to start out with just a little bit of water. Mix that in there. And you want really cold, icy water. It works better that way. And you can actually buy a batter mix, which works really well too, in case you don't worry. But this is so easy to make. And just mix that in. And like I said, I add the water about a little bit at first so that I don't get any lumps. And we're going to use that. I'm going to add that right back in here. We have our nice tempura batter, and I added a little bit of salt to this because, again, if you have a tempura batter, it's just like not adding salt to bread. Without the salt, it's not very flavorful, so it can be kind of bland, and that breading needs to have some flavoring to it. So some of the recipes that you'll see for tempura batter, if you were to look on websites and stuff like that, doesn't have any salt in it, but I find that salt just adds a little bit of flavor and works very nicely. We're going to put this in cooler. Let that set up a little bit. How is that? Probably wondering why the lights keep coming off and on. We wanted to do a nice special effect, so we were going to have the lights off, but our wonderful facilities person keeps putting the lights back on, who doesn't know that we have the lights off for a purpose. So if you see the lights flicker, that's the reason what's going on.
Now here, we got that nice golden
nice color there.
We try to get off sides of it.
Yeah, and we want to get it all the way cooked through.
There's no medium rare in this thing.
No, we don't want chicken ceviche or anything like that.
No raw chicken.
Although, there is a dish called escabeche, and I don't know if anybody's ever heard of escabeche, but it's almost kind of the opposite of ceviche. Ceviche is taking things like scallops and shrimp, and you marinate it, in an acidic type of marinade, and actually cooks that seafood, and that's always a very nice dish. But escabeche is that the item has already been pre-cooked, and then it's put into the marinade, and they a lot of times use chicken and shrimp and seafood for that. So this is what we would do for escabeche. Of course, you'd still have to cook it, and then you'd use a tangy marinade for that. So we'll do that. Turn that heat up. Let's get it cooking.
Okay.
Cooking away. Now, of course, this has had raw chicken on it. We don't want to use, again, one of the number one things that can happen with foodborne illnesses is the fact that people actually transport cooked product and they put it on the same tray that had held the product before that was uncooked. So we want to be very careful. And even if it looks clean, it still has bacteria. Of course, we can't see bacteria, so we will not be transporting this back to there. Right?
Actually, so yeah, smoke point, that's the oil actually burning there. You kind of want to turn down your heat a little bit.
So we have a nice clean tray here.
That's just the same one. You just watch.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
I think these are about done here. Go ahead and start.
You can tell if it's nice and firm. A lot of times I even check a little bit because a lot of times it's not done. So I look at one and that still is a little raw inside. So I want to do that. Okay. We're going to take a little break while these finish up cooking, and when we get back, we're going to show you how this all plates up, and we'll see you back in just a minute. Welcome back at Cooking in the College, and we are doing Thai cuisine and Asian cuisine, and we just got done making a couple of things. We have a Thai peanut sauce, which is just wonderful. And we got some chicken satay, which we just took out of the fry pan there. You can grill it, you can pan fry it, doesn't really matter. But one of the things that we use to kind of add flavor to it is we used a toasted sesame oil. And I'm just going to check the temperature of that. And one way that you can check it is use these nice little bimetallic thermometers. And the best way to do it is not come in this way, but come in through the sides. If you're wondering if this is cooked, you just check it there, and you want it to be right at 160, and that's going up pretty close. It's been sitting for a little while, so it's a little bit cool, but it's going to be right there where it's supposed to be, and that's right where I want it to be. So that's cooked, and that's just a nice way to check it. If you touch it, it should be nice and firm, but sometimes it can be just a little bit raw around the inside where it's touching the skewer. So that's just another way to determine if your chicken is done. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of peanut sauce right in here. And of course, you could do this on a platter and have the chicken coming around it. It would be really pretty. Or you can do just individuals like this, and you can buy these really anywhere, but World Market or a nice little specialty shop would have these things, and just like that. We'll put a little bit of green there, and that's just beautiful. And this is satay chicken, or chicken satay with a Thai peanut sauce. And of course, all these recipes are available at Paducah2.org. So just go to Paducah2.org and you will be able to retrieve all these recipes. We're going to come on over here.
Excuse me.
And as you recall, I made a nice tempura batter. And tempura batter is just flour, water, egg, a little bit of baking powder, and a little bit of salt. So we have that. And you can do anything with tempura. But we're going to do shrimp. A little shrimp. So we're going to just plop that shrimp right in there. And we have peanut oil. I keep the tail on because I think it looks a little prettier. We're going to coat that just like that. Oh, that's going to be pretty, right, Chef?
Yes.
Very nice.
Should be.
I'll tell you, you could do this with chicken. You can do this with vegetables. Of course, you do it with vegetables if you're vegetarian. Let's see if this is going to fry up. I think it's been heating long enough. Chicken will take a little bit longer, obviously. Just going to pop that in. They will actually float to the top. You want to get it well coated. See how those are popping right to the top? Of course, you could use fish. This could be your basic fish batter too. You want to just do a nice battered fish. Often with tempura, there's more than one ingredient. These are just popping right up just nicely there. Fry those right up. And if your oil starts to, a couple things about oil. First of course, be very, very careful. But if it starts to smoke, turn the heat down. You don't want to cook this thing too fast, especially if it was with chicken, because what can happen is that the batter can cook faster before the chicken is done. So you want to make sure your oil temperature is right around, I would say, probably around 260 or
260?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably about 260 or so. We're just going to do that. Or 360. Is it 260 or 360? I think 360.
I would say about 360.
About 360, yes. All right, so that's going to fry up. That's going to look really nice. And if my capable assistant can just be taking a look at that and monitoring that, I'm going to show you how to do a sauce here. And basically, I'm just going to make a quick little dipping sauce. And with a dipping sauce, all you need is a few ingredients. And I'm going to start off with just a little bit of sweet orange marmalade. It's just something that I had in the refrigerator there. So I'm going to do just a couple tablespoons of that. I'm going to throw in a little bit of that spicy chili sauce that we used in the peanut. And maybe a little squeeze of lime there. A little bit of sesame oil. Again, you can just have so much fun with this. A little bit of soy sauce. And you got yourself a very nice little orange sauce, spicy orange sauce. I'm just going to mix that up. So give you a nice sweet and there, because it's all nice, because you got the thick marmalade, it's already nice and thick, so you don't have to thicken it, you don't have to heat it. You can do all kinds of nice sauces like that just by experimenting. All right, so we're going to put that right in here, and I'm just going to pour that right in. Of course, it has the pieces of the orange rind in it. That's nice and pretty. And that's just a really pretty spicy sauce. I'm going to put that right up there. Okay. How's that coming along
It's
there?
starting to look nice.
Good.
Start to get that golden brown color.
Beauteous.
To it.
Beauteous, beauteous, beauteous.
I think these are about ready to come out. What do you say, Chef?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me go.
Maybe just a couple more, just another minute or so. Another minute or so.
Okay. Here,
These are going to be very light. They're not going to be really,
go ahead and add that.
not going to be incredibly brown. If you get them too brown, they'll overcook. And just because of the batter, it's kind of light anyways. So we're going to get that in for about another 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
And you know what? We could probably do a little bit of that chicken, huh?
Sure.
Let's have a little bit of fun since we have a little extra time. Try that chicken, do a chicken tempura. Remember, once you use this batter, you want to be careful not to reuse it. You've had raw things in it. Now, if it's a vegetable, you probably can reuse it for 24 hours. That's all right. If you're just doing vegetables, that's not a big deal. Anything like chicken or anything like that. All right.
Those are about ready to come out.
Yeah, I think so.
Starting to look.
Those are pretty. Pretty!
Now, could you freeze these, or?
Well, I suppose you could, and then we're going to actually be testing that out, aren't we, Chef? We're going to be
right.
Cooking these, and you can see they're just a nice light golden brown. Not super brown. You don't want to overcook them.
Now, you could use some soy sauce or something, replace that, and give it a browner color.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, that might lend a little bit of color. You could put a little soy sauce in there, or toasted sesame sauce right in the batter there. We're just going to put that in there. You want to take off the excess batter. But not so much so that you can actually see the chicken or the shrimp. Okay, so we're going to take this right over here. And I'm actually going to transport it. All right, just like that. Woo! Look at that. Is that not just the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life?
That is.
Isn't that pretty?
Looks pretty.
I mean, just a nice pretty. Okay, so we're going to watch that chicken real quick, and we'll see how that chicken is doing. That's going along really well. Thing about tempura, you can't always tell what's in it, so it's almost like a surprise unless you tell your guests, so it's a good idea to tell them what's going on there. All right. And see, they don't smoke that much either,
No.
so that's kind of nice. It's a nice, nice little product. Well, let's go ahead and try this, Chef. See how this tastes.
Okay.
Then we get Tom, the producer, to come in here and taste this out a little bit. Check this out, I should say. I'm just messing up with my grammar. Something terrible. So what would you like to try?
Oh, I'd like to try that shrimp. I love shrimp.
Well,
Tempura.
try that shrimp. See if you like that. See if my sauce doesn't gag you. Let's see. Is that good?
Love it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Probably
Excellent.
still hot.
That's
Just
right.
came out of the oven.
So we're working on that chicken real quick. Don't know how much time we have, but so there we go. I got about a couple minutes there. So when this is done, we can serve that, of course, with any kind of sauce. That would even go with the peanut sauce and be really good. And we've enjoyed showing you all this. Just as a wrap-up, we've done a shrimp tempura. We've shown you how to make a tempura batter, very basic, can be used in a variety of ways. We've shown you how to make a quick sauce by just using some regular common ingredients that you would have in your kitchen. We also showed you how to make a peanut sauce and also a chicken satay, and you can do that with beef as well. You could make a beef satay, just use different, different kinds of seasonings, but you could even use the try-mix that we showed you for the beef as well, or could just marinate the beef before you fry it. So there's different things, and we have enjoyed doing that. And bon appetit, and remember, I want to cook with you. We want to cook with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
I got to point at them? No,
You got a point. Yes,
That
you
just
got a
doesn't
point.
seem- How about I do
I-
the presidential point?
No, that's all right. Point. This one is where pointing is okay.
Okay. So I can't have my thumb up or anything?
No, it's not. We're not shooting them.
Okay, so,
Point.
just like that.